am Nima, a cute bear. In today's class, let's think about the future of learning English. In this class, for students struggling with studying English, and for teachers grappling with teaching English, I talk about learning English in non-English speaking regions. First, as a premise, I talk about skills or life stages around English. This diagram represents the relationship among the skills and the goal is on learning and teaching English. These three items are fundamental level of skill. This is not the ability to think in English, but to think in any language logically and creatively. This is the most important ability for everyone, especially for children. By the way, in non-English speaking regions, this ability to think is learned not in English, but in the local language. This is a significant disadvantage of our growth in non-English speaking regions. That is the most important ability to think. And the skills at primitive level to read, write, listen, and speak English are learned differently in different languages using unnecessary extra time. This is a huge contrast between English-speaking regions and non-English-speaking regions. This is applicative level of skills. I call these are at fundamental level, and these are at applicative level. But that does not mean easy level and difficult level. These three skills is dependent on these three skills that is based on their combination. For example, I talk about this expertise. There is academic papers, specialized books, and technical documentations. That is textual information which can be understood only with intelligence. If we must read and write these textual information, we need to acquire these two skills and unite them. For meaningful discussions, we must have an insight into the subject of the discussions. And of course, we must also be able to listen and speak English. Only about this daily conversation, we must merely have a skill to listen and speak English. And there is no more challenging skills to be acquired. These three items are the most important goals relating to English. This is the goal that in your local region, mainly with your local language, you will engage in professional work. Until a little while ago, this goal is overwhelmingly important. In this case, there is not much need for oral communication, like academic papers and internet information. Professional information is commonly textual. It was important reading and writing such information. So the skill for listening and speaking English was less significant than the skill for reading and writing English. But now there are important new goals of learning English. First one is remote work. Even if you will continue to live your local regions, it is possible to work at English-speaking regions. The second one is migration. These two goals has become easier to achieve over time. It is expected that they will become even easier. For these goals, it is important to participate in discussions and to engage in daily conversation. Since that the skills of listening and speaking English will become more important in the future. Based on the premise, let's think about changing environment of English. In the past few decades, there have been the actual changes. And over the next few decades, there will be further acceleration of these changes. The first change is the internationalization. The importance of professionals increases because technology advances. Local companies seek talent more and more eagerly. Next, as moving across the boundaries of societies become more common, since societal environment for such people will develop, further internationalization advances. Moreover, the useful tools for connecting remote locations like Zoom develop simultaneously. Because of the synergy among this many changes, the internationalization is expected to further progress in the future. That is far from becoming less important. The expertise become more and more important. But the importance of other goals like daily conversation in destination regions increases. The second change is the decline of non-English speaking regions. Like I said before, the professionals become influential on the world. Since such professionals are highly valued, many people move to America. At present, China is the only country that can be said to compete with America in terms of economic scale. But it heavily relies on its vast population. So in a few decades, China is likely not to keep up with the growth of America. The world will be divided into America and non-America. And the level of accessibility to America decides the outcome. That might be overstating it. But as seen in the current growth of America, it will likely further increase its presence in the world. Now, as I said earlier, the main factor that decides the accessibility to America is whether a region is an English-speaking one or non-English-speaking one. Being an English-speaking region means not only easier exchange of people, goods, and services with America, but also a chance of easy inflow. As highly skilled people enter, society becomes more prosperous, leading to better conditions even in less demanding jobs, resulting in higher salaries and good circumstances. Furthermore, in such a scenario, non-English-speaking regions may undergo various changes like making English an official language. The third change is the improvement of automatic translation tools. As the improvement progresses, the value of the reading and writing skills in English is decreasing rapidly. If you are much more familiar with your local language than English, you can simply use automatic translation to read English. Similarly, for writing in English, you can write in your local language and then use automatic translation. In summary, the English language environment is facing three big changes. Internationalization across the world, the decline of non-English speaking regions, and the rise of automatic translation tools. Now, let's think about the future of English in non-English speaking regions. One thing we can say is that practical and functional use of English, such as speaking and listening skills, and using it for discussion and daily conversations. The right side of this diagram will become increasingly important based on what I talked earlier. On the other hand, skills like reading and writing, or knowing formal expression and words used only in writing, may not as crucial as before. And as I said earlier, English-speaking regions are likely to move towards making English an official language to avoid falling behind in the global context, because it eliminates language barriers and reduces unnecessary learning costs. It is inherently valuable for the entire world. Of course, it's not possible for everyone to switch to speaking only English overnight. So to gradually approach that goal, the method of incorporating English and mixing it with your local language is effective. Given its effectiveness, many regions are predicted to do so in the future. By doing so, it will be possible to overcome the disadvantage in non-English speaking regions. In summary, in non-English speaking regions, the importance of practical English usage is increasing significantly, and it is expected that the trend of mixing English with local languages will continue to spread. Finally, let's move on to the main topic, the future of English learning and education. Earlier I talked about the future of English itself and concluded that practical usage of English is becoming increasingly important, and mixing English with local languages is likely to continue. So what do you think about the future of English learning should be like? Or what do you predict it will be? One straightforward conclusion is to stop learning English and start learning in English. In other words, in school, gradually reduce traditional English classes and instead incorporate English little by little into other subjects. For example, math teachers could use a bit of English during math classes. This way students can focus on practical usage, while getting accustomed to using English with their local language. That's killing two birds with one stone. If you are currently studying English at school, and such classes are not readily available, you can get used to learning in English early on by reading English books or watching academic videos in English. Additionally, considering an international school or studying abroad when choosing your future education path could also be options. To summarize English learning, this approach seems to be the way in the future.